No matter how tangled our pasts or how distant the future, our bond remains unchanged. I am Himeko, navigator of the Astral Express, and your family, always looking out at the same horizon as you. I've been away from Plain Arcadia for so long that coming back gave me a bit of culture shock. The holographic ads are too loud, the street gangs are a nuisance, and the management of Imaginie is a mess. But after seeing so many disasters, this chaotic energy feels much more like home than a deathly silence ever could. Most of my memories before the age of 6 are a blur now. Just fragments of a dream. A rattling toy, moonlight catching a strand of crimson hair, a dab of paint someone snuck onto my nose. But the moment I open my eyes, they're gone. Before I became the reliable adult you all see today, absurdity was just my everyday life. Back in Plain Arcadia, if someone started flying or cheated death, it was usually just part of the game. When you look at it that way, my dream of chasing the stars doesn't seem like such a big deal, does it? Care for a cup of my new blend? Trust me, this one definitely won't be a disaster. To suit everyone's palate, I've whipped up beetroot black coffee for March, a mung bean soda latte for Don Heng, and even a giant terror bird egg handmade coffee for Sunday. You just want a regular cup? Come on, where's the trailblaze in that? In the Phantasmoon games 15 years ago, I briefly stood at the very peak of elation myself. To keep a cool head in the face of that kind of temptation, her understanding of the game has far exceeded my expectations. 15 years ago, we repaired this fallen train and began our journey. Since then, it's your dreams and aspirations that have given it such vibrant new colors. Every time I witness your trailblazing spirit, I'm reminded of why I started this journey in the first place. The destination doesn't matter. What matters is that we're on this path together. I used to worry that as the weight of our journey grew, I'd eventually stop seeing March's signature smile. Looking at her now, she's certainly matured, but that spark of innocence that makes her who she is, that's never faded for a second. If Pom Pom knew I'd asked you to look after them, I can already hear the grumpy correction. Who's looking after who here? But between us, I know Pom Pom secretly loves every second of it. Looking back, the show Sparksy put on was actually the kindest performance in the entire Phantasmoon games. If all the fools had her sense of restraint, maybe thrilling comedies would be the rule rather than the exception. Welt's passion for the Starblazer still caught me by surprise. He's been working on his Starblazer comic every single day lately. Honestly, if I'd known he'd be this obsessed, I should have let him stay in the pilot's seat a little longer. We crossed paths once, during the last season of the Phantasmoon games. Carrying the weight of an entire world on her shoulders while looking that effortless? Honestly, I could learn a thing or two from that kind of grace under pressure. Truth be told, from the moment I first saw you, I picked up on this sharp, slightly playful sense of humor. Maybe that's just my Plain Arcadia intuition talking. Maybe one day she'll just appear out of nowhere and give us one of those graceful smiles. After all, finding a glimmer of hope in the middle of the impossible, that's always been her specialty. Though wearing the supplicant's mask came about by accident, those constant twists of fate have instead brought his potential to trailblaze the unknown into full view. Enjoying the trailblaze is just as important as the destination, and I'm glad he's finally starting to get that. I suspect Don Heng will only get better at his Xianzhou's #1 assassin routine from here on out. What lies at the end of the trailblaze? He showed us one of the darkest possible answers with his own life. No matter how far our journey takes us, please keep the Oath of the Nameless etched forever in your hearts. Once upon a time, we'd weave through the bustling crowds together, sit by the banks of the Dove Brook, just watching the water flow, or hide away in our secret base, trying to figure out how to fix those broken parts. Motoko never really left. In the quiet of 1,000 lonely nights, I can still feel her gaze, steady and watching over me, as I fulfill the promise we made at the very start. It's been a while since I've handled the heavy lifting myself. Besides my molecular saw and satellites, I think it's time to pack some serious firepower in this briefcase. As a navigator, I can relate to how difficult it is to lead a team forward, instead of trying to shoulder everything alone. Learning to lean on your companions, well, it makes the journey a lot easier to bear. The blueprints for the Star Blazer are kept right in the Express archives. It's a legacy of trailblaze in every sense of the word. Back on Pagana, the ancients used it to extend their fragile reach, sprinting across the galaxy to pluck the very stars from the sky. I wonder what the romance of your generation will look like. For as long as I can remember, my family's inherited illness was my deepest fear. Even though I've moved past it, our lives are still just a blink in the eyes of the universe. But without that fear of how fleeting life is, would we ever find the drive to reach for the furthest stars? Maybe I've spent too much time on blueprints. I'm always trying to capture every detail with precise lines. It can get a bit rigid sometimes. There's so many styles out there. I'd love to try some improvised ink splatters or even dive into abstract art when I have the time. Back in my student days, I was quite the connoisseur of old-school martial arts films. I've still got all those combat techniques memorized by heart. Maybe I'll show off a few moves next time, just to make sure I'm not getting rusty. Don't worry. While I'm away, I'm leaving the Express in your capable hands.